Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to pariomagazine.com.au. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, where we watch and, you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Peaky Blinders. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
Thank you for having me back. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad. How's everything down your way?
Things are going well.
Not frozen?
No, it's not a secret now that I love winter.
Yeah.
I am an Eskimo.
You and Jackson, you big freaks.
Oh, but yeah, first person to complain about the cold, don't you worry.
Loves the cold, but complains about it. Good.
I love how we just, like, in Australia, like, winter, we're like 13 degrees, like, shit, it's freezing.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's the least of our worries.
And then as soon as summer hits and it hits 40 degrees, everyone's like, oh, it's so hot. Or if you're in England, it hits 30 degrees and you're like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah, that's a laugh. Didn't they get some weather lately?
Yeah.
But yeah, they hit like 28 and it's just a sweltering heat wave.
Their train tracks are melting and warping, and none of their shops are designed for heat.
Yeah, their roads are melting when it hits 24.
Yeah, it's because everything is designed to withstand snow, not Australian summers.
But yeah, other than that, things are going all right. Keeping myself very busy, very fit at the moment.
That's good.
We're
doing some sort of running like Jackson.
Yeah, I've been running like a madman, absolute madman.
Again, you guys are nuts. So, yeah, this week, following on from our English discussion, we're going to dive into Blake's favourite TV show, since that has officially concluded now.
Well,
and then to close out, we'll chat about a couple of new Netflix docos. But yeah, First up, Peaky Blinders Season 6, the sixth and final show of season of the show. How do you feel it wrapped up?
It's been out for long enough, I believe, for people to find out for themselves. But I don't know. There is spoilers. There is definitely big spoilers at the end.
We're going to have to go spoilers. Like, there's only 6 episodes.
In typical last few seasons of Peaky Blinders fashion, we've had 6 episodes in these seasons, maybe 7 or 8 if we're lucky.
No, I think they've only been 6.
This is the problem I've had with the last few seasons is we get these action, built up, suspense, and that's sort of it. And we're like, oh, now we've got to wait another 2 years for the next one. Look, the last few seasons have been very entertaining, very good, but I don't know why they've been just jam-packing everything.
I think that's just the BBC, it's just mini-series format where it's 6 episodes and that's it.
I don't know. Well, it was very, very, very good. Like, the storyline was, and obviously the death of Polly Gray. What's the actress's name that plays Polly Gray?
Helen McCrory.
Yeah, so she died suddenly while they were filming, so they had to sort of switch tone there, which they did a pretty good job of. But you could definitely tell how rushed everything was. Like that, it was.
I feel like they did a pretty good job of
most of these lead character roles. I think they you would think in most shows and movies that have sequels, they would write these characters in with the possibility they might need to kill someone off. You know what I mean? But they did that pretty well. I didn't like how rushed it was again. But
I think on a whole, when you look at all 6 seasons together, I think it was a good story arc.
If you're binging from the start.
Yeah, for Tommy, I felt like it was the perfect story arc because I noticed the very first time we see him in season 1, he rides in on a black horse, essentially like signifying that he's the bad guy, part of the criminal underworld. And then the final scene we see of him in this, he rides off on a white horse. So he's the good guy in the story by the end of it.
You are paying attention, young man.
always paying attention.
But it was. I really did enjoy the last 2 episodes. It's just. Well, I think we'll declare it now. Well, it wasn't a secret that the writer came out and said they're going to finish the show with a movie. So I think we all knew this wasn't going to be the end, and it got confirmed.
Yep.
So it's the end of the TV show, but there's lots was left open. And
yeah, so I did see that they've said
like 3 years for the movie, I think. But the show, Peaky Blinders, is going to end on a movie.
Yeah, like the script isn't even fully written for the movie. Yeah. They said that it's almost complete, but not finished yet. They're hoping to begin filming in the next 18 months. So we've got at least that long to wait.
Yeah, crazy.
And apparently they're going to film in Birmingham. So it's going to be like the Peaky Blinders in the town where they're from, not some set. Like it's going to be all.
Of course, Birmingham of Commonwealth Games fame.
Yeah, it really is.
Peaky Blinders has put Birmingham on the map. Alfie Solomons. What did we think of his insertion back into the show late as Tommy's sitting at that bar in Canada, was it? And Alfie just, no context, rolls in from behind the bar. I don't know. It was just like, oh, we've got to do something with Alfie here. I thought they just chucked it in to keep people happy, but, well, I didn't mind, but there was just,
I guess story-wise, it didn't make sense.
Like he just rolls in, and I was like, oh, he's gone. You know what that leads me to think, though? I personally think after this movie, or even before the movie to tie us over, we're going to get a spin-off of a Peaky Blinders character, a spin-off series. I'm thinking it could be an Alfie Solomon spin-off series.
That'd be cool. The writers have worked together. The writers and Tom Hardy have worked together. So
the franchise is too big just to end it on Peaky Blinders, the show on Netflix. Yes, they're going to have a movie, but you can't just end a franchise like Peaky Blinders. There's going to be spin-offs. And I think Alfie Solomon's, Tom Hardy, will be a spin-off.
Huge.
And potentially maybe something to do with Tommy's son, his long-lost son that gets inserted into the show late.
Yeah, that was a very weird addition. Like, at least Alfie, like they had backstory. That was written in late. That was written in late, showing up. Yeah.
Do you think maybe the direction of the movie was based on maybe Polly Gray, potentially? And they're like, shit, now what? No. So we're gonna insert this long lost love child of Tommy Shelby's in. Now he's going to take over the Shelby empire.
No, for me, I think the movie is going to be World War II, and somehow Tommy is going to play a part in Hitler's demise.
Yeah, we
like
did get
some
teased.
Sort of like in this season or the last 2 seasons, it's all been about the rise of the socialists and Tommy working in the shadows to try and prevent them coming to power.
Yep.
So that is what makes me believe that the movie is going to be, because they sort of suggest that Hitler's around, but they never actually show him. So I think
Tommy does attend Nazi party events, doesn't he?
Yep. Yeah, but we never actually see
Oswald
Hitler
Mosley
in the show.
Yeah, no, Hitler did. The Fuhrer himself did not make an appearance, but
so that
Oswald
makes me
Mosley
think
was essentially Hitler's right-hand man, yes?
Yep.
Well, the Fuhrer attended Oswald Mosley's wedding. That's what our first sort of glimpse.
Yeah, but they never show him, so that makes me think the movie is going to be, okay, now we're finally going to Germany. We're going to see Hitler, whoever they cast in that role, which would be...
I was just about to say, who is playing Hitler?
But then I think Tommy is going to continue his sort of, now that he's dead, he's going to be working in the shadows and be able to sort of do some things that the government and the army can't do. And then that's going to be what eventually leads to Hitler in his bunker killing himself or killing himself.
Well,
does Tommy kill him?
Well. No, that's what I mean. Are they going to try to rewrite history in the way that the man in the High Castle did, and they changed the outcome of the war?
No, I think Hitler. No? I think Hitler will be wiped out. But keep
it real.
I think it's going to turn out that in our history timeline, Hitler didn't just like freak out and go, oh, "I'm going to kill myself." I think he gets taken out by Tommy, and it's just made to look like it's a suicide because Tommy is dead.
You know what just popped up in my head when Batman and Bane are at the top of the steps, just going blow for blow when everyone else is fighting? Do you think that's going to be Hitler and Tommy Shelby?
Pretty much. And then I think that's why we sort of needed Alfie to come back, because we need that strong Jewish character to play into that story as well.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. I've got butterflies thinking about Tommy Shelby and Alfie Solomon's beating up Hitler.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That's we never really got Al Capone. We got teased Al Capone in Peaky Blinders season 5, didn't we? There was talk of him, and he never made an appearance, did he?
Yeah, because we were sort of starting to go to America, but yeah.
Do you think I always thought he was going to do all these big deals with Capone, and he was going to be the next main villain in Peaky Blinders, but he never really got a start.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened there.
I know. I feel like with the way Peaky Blinders is produced, I think a World War II story introducing Hitler, like that would be an epic movie.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy because we can never have enough World War II movies, can we?
And isn't what's his name that plays Tommy?
Cillian Murphy
isn't he in Oppenheimer?
Coming out Oppenheimer, yes. That looks very good. I was going to mention that earlier. That's coming out very soon. 2 sort of World War II-ish movies happening. And he looks like things. Well, Cillian Murphy's hard to change his appearance in any role he plays. That's sort of like Daniel Radcliffe. He's always going to be Harry Potter, and Cillian Murphy's always going to be Tommy Shelby. But this Oppenheimer movie looks almost exactly like Tommy Shelby, which, hey, I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is why we sign up for Cillian Murphy.
Yep. I'm super keen for it.
The Tommy Shelby's.
What else did we get? What did you think of the sort of inner battle between Michael and Tommy in this season, in terms of like fighting for control?
I haven't watched season 5 since it came out, which was over 2 years ago now. I was like, have I missed something? Like, am I completely forgetting a major part of dialogue that these two absolutely hate each other all of a sudden? Like, I knew they were, because of, I think, Michael's Anna Joy Taylor, her character, I think she had a lot to do with it. But season 6 hit the ground running of these two just at each other. Was that out of nowhere? Like, I know it wasn't out of nowhere, but I'm just like,
I watched season 5
from 0 to 100. I should have. I'm like, this one.
I watched season 5 recently,
really quick.
And they were like, the tension was building between them, and then eventually, Michael goes over to America to try and expand the business over there, and then I think he just starts to get outside influences, and like that pushes him to try and take power.
Knowing that the movie was in the pipe works, did you genuinely think Tommy was going to get killed when he was sitting in that car?
With the bomb?
Yeah.
No. Knowing the movie was coming, I was like, Tommy can't go.
Yeah, but I just...
Even when they said Tommy was sick, I was like, there's something sus going on here.
Really? See, that was one of the biggest twists I've seen in anything I've ever watched. Any movie, any show. That was massive. That was like genius by the writers to do that.
I just knowing that the movie was coming, I was like, there has to be something that happens here that means he doesn't die. But like, the way they wrote it,
Tommy
it was
Shelby
a perfect turn. Like,
he gets blown up in the car. The movie starts. It's his funeral. Everyone's like sobbing, crying. But at the back of the funeral, like watching on from 80 meters away, is Tommy Shelby. Okay, you're all mourning my death. I didn't actually die. They could have done something like that. But that twist was crazy. I was like, hands on my head, like, holy shit. Where did they come up with that?
I loved the way that like he worked it out too. Like, wait a second, this doctor
Yeah,
is suspect.
that was so witty.
Really, really well done.
Yeah, and he planted his gypsy cart up on the hill of the doctor, which was just all unbelievable. It was genius writing. It was some of the best I've seen. Very well written show.
Even like the way they kept Holly in it without sort of needing to show Helen McCrory, like they just kind of used her voice and they really played into the gypsy curse type stuff, and I thought that was fortunate that they had that woven into the story, so it wasn't like randomly out of the blue. Like it made sense that's how her character kept interacting with them.
That's the thing up to. I like the consistency of like the gypsy storyline throughout the whole show as well. They sort of kept their roots right from the start, and like Esmeralda comes back into it at the end. Like that was pretty cool. So like he's never really got. Well, he did get too big for his boots, but at the same time, he always kept his roots, and he was always. I just think like someone of his caliber, like what they're portraying Tommy Shelby as, like this huge messiah. He was always just on the tools himself, just always back there getting it done.
And yeah, I love how it was like a different story than what we would usually see with like a gangster movie where it's like this guy gets all this power and then the power corrupts him and makes him go even more evil than what he was to get the power. Like Tommy actually goes the opposite way. Like he's doing all these dodgy dealings in the beginning of the series. And then towards the end, he's getting into the politics and he's like actually trying to do things to help the factory workers and the people of Birmingham by demolishing his own house to create land for low income housing, basically. I was like, I love that twist on this sort of story.
That was all pretty wild too. That scene in their house.
Where he wouldn't tell anyone what was going on, that they just had to put all this stuff away and blow the house up.
Yeah, it got pretty like obviously you watch Peaky Blinders for the violence, but yeah, it got pretty full on those last couple of episodes.
Even season 5, like they had some hectic murder sequences in season 5. Man. Like the final sequence of season 5 in the like theater when they're having the big speech and then the IRA invaders. Like,
I hated how that ended. I was so cut. I was like, oh my God, this is it already. Like this season went for 5 minutes, I swear.
It was such a massive cliffhanger too. Like who's dead, who's
that's
alive.
what I mean. It just got build up, 5 episodes. Then all of a sudden this huge cliffhanger. I got to wait 2 years to find out the rest.
Yeah. Well, I was glad I'd waited.
That's the only bad thing I can say about this, like season 6 or the whole show is general. Like it's so good that
you want more than 6 episodes.
Yeah,
you want 10 episodes.
That's the only thing. But it was miraculously written, as I mentioned, season 6, and incredible way to end the show.
Yeah,
and quote unquote. One more thing I want to add to the scene when Arthur finds out Tommy's sick in Tommy's office and they hug it out. That was really something for me.
Yeah,
waterworks.
Just because like they were finally like back together after.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah,
really enjoyed that.
I loved season 6. I loved like the whole show in general. Really, like it's one of
easily
one of Netflix best shows that they have.
Statistically, is it not the most popular, the greatest TV show of all time?
Maybe
when I
say
that, I believe of the streaming era of like, also I think Breaking Bad previously was the most popular.
Yeah, I think Breaking Bad is still like right up there, but like I know Stranger Things season 4, the most recent one, that like absolutely blew streaming stats out of the water. Bridgerton is also super high for Netflix. I think this one like is for a very specific audience. Like my mum won't watch it because of the English accents. I guess if you're not into like gangster movies and shows, like
it is full on. Like, much for right up. It's right up the alley of a couple of blokes like you and me, I guess. But then again, other like my mum and dad love it. I know people that you wouldn't expect to like it. They enjoy it. Like, everyone can get around it. I think it's just because it's so well made. Like the cinematography is incredible. Like
Oh yeah,
everything's realistic. It's just very well done.
and yeah,
it was like
you
that
said,
right from the start.
the writing is so tight. I think because they only have 6 episodes, like there's very little
like that,
fluff.
I
think it was
early, yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're only 6, but like there's no fluff in this show.
yeah,
It's 6 densely packed 1-hour episodes every season.
You're like, well, that didn't need to happen. That didn't need to happen, but yeah, it's all
It all plays into at the end. Like you're like, well, I don't know why they're doing this, but then at the end you're like, okay.
Gives me hope that they're going to nail the movie.
I'm sure they will if they keep all the same writing.
I don't have a doubt.
Team, like it's going to be incredible. But like we said, we've got at least 18
old man
months.
By the time that comes out, before they start filming.
What is it now? It's 2022.
26?
Yeah.
You can probably put a thumb on it.
I reckon 2025, I'm calling.
Give me a month.
Because we got what? A year and a half. That gets us to basically the end of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
To begin filming. By the time they finish filming,
April
halfway
25.
through. Yeah, probably about the same time that they release the season. Start of 2025. First quarter 2025.
When did the war finish? When Hitler killed himself, like in April 1945, wasn't it?
No.
You reckon they would do a little? That could work out. If it's 2025, how many years since the end of the war is that? 80.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Is that overthinking?
It's probably overthinking, but who knows? If they do bring in Hitler, who do you think they cast?
I was just going to ask you this. I have no idea. Hey, I was actually, my brain was ticking over just now trying to think. I've got no idea. That's a huge role to play.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Well, Hitler was short. Tom Cruise is short. I think he could play that role, whether he wants to play. That's another thing with that role. Like, do you want to play Hitler?
You have to. I know that's what you got to be Hitler. You're gonna take that with you. A lot of people wouldn't want to do it, but Tom Cruise is like,
yeah, Tom Cruise is
Scientology fame.
He's Maverick. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
I think Tom Cruise could pull it off.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do we have like notable actors who have played Hitler? I'm trying to think of famous Hitlers. Are they people we recognise?
Yeah. Apparently Anthony Hopkins has Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, knew that one. Alec Guinness.
Charlie Chaplin was in Peaky Blinders, so it's not going to cast him.
Anthony Hopkins.
Obviously, Charlie Chaplin's dead too, by the way.
Yeah. Ian McKellen.
Obviously not going to cast him.
Noah Taylor, Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head like recognisable actors who have played Hitler. Probably for that reason, people don't want to do the role.
Taika Waititi played him.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that from JoJo.
JoJo
Rabbit. I was actually going to say that.
I don't know. I think Tom Cruise could pull it off, and like if you put a random no-name actor in there, they're stuck as Hitler for the rest of their career. At least if you put Tom Cruise in there, who has got Mission Impossible, he's got Top Gun behind him. If they cast him as Hitler, it's not going to be like, oh, that's his only role. Every time we see him now, he's Hitler.
What franchise character role do you associate Tom Cruise with? Who is Tom Cruise to you?
Maverick.
Is he Maverick?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. He'd have to be when you think of Tom Cruise. A lot of people would probably. I've never seen Mission Impossible. I've never seen a single movie. What's the character in Mission Impossible?
I think I've seen bits and pieces.
They don't look appealing, do they?
No. Seen bits and pieces, never a full one. What else is he in? You know, I'm pretty sure Maverick. Like, as soon as everyone says Tom Cruise,
it's got to be yeah. Or funnily enough, every time I think of Tom Cruise, I think of him jumping on the lounge on Oprah Winfrey Show. That's like the first thing.
That's the weirdest thing to be like, yep, that's Tom Cruise.
That's the first thing I think of when someone mentions Tom Cruise and jumping on the lounge on Oprah. Sure, I'd love to hear that. Anyway, that's Peaky
Um,
Blinders.
yeah, fantastic. If you haven't watched it
Yeah,
yet,
it's incredible. It's
get on
incredible. I
it.
was just disappointed because it didn't go for long enough.
Especially now that you have all 6 seasons, you can just binge watch them in probably a month.
Hey, I know people who have just started picking up season 1, so they're out there. They are out there.
Yeah, now they don't have that awkward, massive cliffhanger. Wait 2 years.
Yeah. No, very good.
And then on to the second topic of the show, a couple of Netflix docos. We checked out The Most Hated Man on the Internet and Trainwreck Woodstock 99. Which one do you feel like starting off with?
I'm itching to talk about Woodstock. Trainwreck.
Okay. Let's start on that
I've
one
worn
then.
my Woodstock 99 t-shirt for today's episode too in celebration.
You actually got a shirt.
Yeah, first things, I was like, remember last year we spoke about the HBO one, which was titled, was it on Binge?
Yeah, I think it was
Woodstock
just
99, Peace, Love and Rage.
Yep, that was it.
And I remember I've got some notes here from it, how I just thought, what I spoke about last time was this one just glorified. I know everyone remembers Woodstock 99 as the disaster that it was, but yeah, this one was the original, the one we did last year, Peace, Love and Rage, was very opinionated in the tragedy, and it went very against the festival, I thought, and I just really didn't enjoy. I just didn't enjoy the tone of it, so to speak. Yep. It just ratted out the whole festival and didn't celebrate what it was, like the music and whatnot. But this one was very good, I thought. This new Netflix one, Trainwreck. I'm not even surprised by Netflix. Like, this was extremely good. This one, they had footage. I don't know where they got or how they got their hands on it. They somehow managed to get Michael Lang, the founder of the original Woodstock and obviously Woodstock 99, to interview.
Yeah,
I thought
just before he passed away.
I'm but just quickly skipping over it now to the end. When they were interviewing him, I was like, did he get sued for this? Like, what legal fallout was? And that's one thing they didn't touch on, did they, at the end?
No, they basically just spoke about the events and factors that sort of led up to the festival and why it ended up being a train wreck, essentially.
Yeah, so it was a 3-part, hour each mini series. They probably could have gone a 4th to explain the legal fallout afterwards, which I don't know if there was any. You would have to assume there would have been, but it didn't get mentioned in this unless it's still ongoing.
Yeah, I guess when they talked
but then why would Michael Lang agree to interview if it's...
But
then they managed to track down a lot of people
that were at the festival, which was pretty cool.
Well, festival goers, how good was Keith? That mullet wearing trailer trash bloke that attended the festival. He was great, I reckon. So they managed to track down people who attended the festival, MTV reporters that were there working on the festival. There was security, Peace Patrol, they called them. Interviewed those.
The best security.
They managed to track down a lot. Yeah. It was very well put together. And like I said, some of the footage they got is incredible. That's what the other documentary lacked. And this one was pretty much the whole first episode. It told you the origins of them organizing it. So this one felt like it more definitely came and it was on the side of the festival, whereas not just beating it down and ratting it out.
Yeah, I really liked this one. I thought it was like the perfect length with those 3 episodes where it got to give you the background of what led to them bringing Woodstock back for Woodstock 99. Then it spoke about the events that happened, and then the 3rd episode was kind of looking at how the planning failures led to what happened at the festival, which I thought was really cool.
There was a lot of explaining of certain aspects that the Binge one just didn't have, and that just gave people a mindset like, oh, this is just the most horrible disaster ever. But then, this Trainwreck one on Netflix was explained everything very well.
Yeah, I like how they sort of explained that, the things that led to this being a train wreck of a festival were the location that they chose was bad in terms of being an old Army Air Force base that was, yeah, there was lots of space. There was a big hangar to do a rave cave type thing in. But outside that, there was just tarmac and concrete everywhere. It was upstate New York, so it was hot in summer, and then there was no shade because it was an Air Force base. So it's like, yep, that was always going to turn out bad.
You know, like a massive piece of irony that it's just, I don't know, it's deafening. Like Woodstock was like this festival of like peace and love during a time where everyone was against the war, and they put this festival on just to bring everyone together. And then Michael Lang, who organized that festival in 1969, organizes this one because he wanted to revive that. And what this happened, what, weeks or months after the Columbine shooting? So he's like, let's try get some peace and get some order back into this. And
yeah, and like raise awareness for gun violence.
And he puts it at an Air Force base.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Like, and that was one of the first things people were like, hang on, this is meant to be like flowing, rolling hills and like...
Yeah, people rock up and there's just concrete everywhere. They're like, what?
It's just a military base, like tarmac surrounded by fences. Like, I don't know. But and like, what were they thinking? Like, just...
I think they just wanted a big, easy, convenient space that had amenities already, but
when did they try to do one? 94, 95? And that
94. And it failed because
heaps of money on it. So, and this was...
It failed because people knocked the fence down and just walked in. So that's why they kind of went with an Air Force base so that it was a bit more secure. But I think the intentions behind the festival as well were kind of
make money
in the wrong place.
They want to make money back.
Yeah, they were trying to make as much profit as possible. So they
said that when they found the venue.
They contracted out outside vendors for food and drink, who then ended up charging... what started as $4 for a bottle of water went up to $12.
$12.
When you compare the average retail price at the time of a bottle of water was 65 cents.
Yep.
So insane markups. They ran out of food and water, a bunch of them, so that they ended up just jacking the prices up on everything. There were water fountains available, but then they ended up getting tainted with the runoff from the portaloos, which weren't being cleaned or maintained. There were no garbage bins, and the garbage bins that were there were just overflowing and never emptied.
Didn't it look horrendous when all the rubbish is just flowing everywhere, like you're blowing in the wind? It looked like a rubbish tip.
And then that lady was walking around trying to hand out garbage bags, asking people to clean up, and they're like, I paid $150 to be here. I'm not picking up rubbish.
Yeah, I think another thing too, like like who the artists they booked, like look, they had the Korn, like Megadeth, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
And
then they had weird random ones too, like Jewel.
They had Jewel and like Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson, James Brown.
Yeah, it's just like, what? It was such a weird lineup all on the same stage.
But I think another, like, that was just full of angst, that sort of era of rock in the late 90s, like your Limp Bizkits and Rage Against the Machine. And look, it looked like there was 80% males at that festival too, and just full of rage. But I think it was just an angsty time in the 90s, and I don't think they can really blame individuals. Because they deflected the blame on the whole thing off themselves.
That was my big issue with the documentary was kind of like trying to present it as, no, you can't blame the kids for this. But yeah, the organizers were purely just like, no, we did everything right. It was all the people that came to this festival. Like, I don't know. It was pretty poorly run. The security was useless. It was just a bunch of dudes that they booked, gave them $500 to just be there and wear a yellow shirt that then couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that even just looking at the footage, the way like, you know, when you go to a festival now, there's like the D-shape crowd barriers and stuff to like prevent there being that big crush. This was like way before that, where it was just 100,000 people in one big space. Like, that would have been horrible at the front of that mosh pit.
I can't even imagine what the camping facilities were like there. Like, everyone was just in filth the whole time. And like
Yeah.
there was no one going through and cleaning and maintaining anything. But yeah, back on like them not claiming responsibility and them blaming the attendees, like they booked acts that they, if they knew who that, like the music, or they knew the scene, they knew there was going to be angst and like
Mm,
violence and rage,
yeah.
and like they
Like,
don't cater for that. Like you're not going to have a hardcore festival today and not have, maybe put some extra security on, or you go to like a hip hop gig at like Enmore and it'd be like an American artist or something, and you know their music and their fan base is a little bit more rogue. There's
mm,
always going to be a few extra cops out the front of that gig
yeah.
compared to like a Courtney Barnett gig.
Yeah. Or like, yeah,
Like
like a City and Color gig
you just got to
compared
know,
to
yeah,
a
you
Limp
just got to
Bizkit
know
gig. There's
your
going to be more
audience.
cops.
Yeah, then and then they're
They
trying
also,
to say, oh, no, these kids. I'm like,
I
well,
also didn't like that they,
you encourage them.
I also didn't like that they like kind of tried to blame Limp Bizkit as well. Like, bro,
That's what I
you
mean.
booked
And
them. You booked Limp Bizkit. One of their biggest songs at the time was Break Stuff.
yeah,
What'd you expect? Of course the crowd was
Yeah,
going to get massively amped up. Like, I listen
yeah,
to
and
that
then
song
like,
now when I get
well,
amped up.
they had Limp Bizkit's former manager on there, and they're like, how can you blame them? Like they've come to do a job. And they're not going to half-ass
They
it.
they played a concert
Like
that they would play any other time. It just so happened to be
you book
this time
them
it was
to
150,000
perform
people.
their show. So, and you're saying you don't want them to perform their show all of a sudden. Like, yeah. But one on that note though, Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, when all those, he covered Jimi Hendrix Fire as the encore after he just left the stage because of all the fires that have just started in the crowd.
Yeah, it was
I
like,
thought that was definitely
whoops.
intentional. That was peak Anthony Kiedis junkie stage too. So there's
I love
definitely a
when
bit of smart assery about that one.
I love how they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fleas just rocking out fully nude on stage.
Yeah, Flea. Yeah, that's iconic. I've seen
That
that
was
set and the Limp Bizkit set so many times on YouTube. I
so
love them.
funny. Just rocking out,
definitely
like,
go-tos.
fully nude, like
Yeah, how
whatever.
good is he?
And then like them handing out candles at the very end, like even though all the
I never knew
organizers were
this
like,
happened.
we don't have
How do
approval by the fire marshal for candles. Like,
There's
no,
so
don't
much
do that.
wrong with that.
We've just
Like-
amped up the crowd to beyond belief, and now we're going to give them fire. That's a great idea. No wonder the place burnt down.
Bro, I was just seeing how logistically, for starters, no matter what it is, let alone candles, how are you going to hand out 100,000 of anything?
Yeah.
Let alone like lit candles, just like little sticks of wax. Like they're gonna
when people are just like ramming up against each other. Like,
yeah,
you
but it
fools.
somehow worked. Like to an
Yeah,
extent.
they somehow
Like,
got
showed-
all the way to the back.
and the inevitable happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could,
The
if you handed out
downfall.
candles at a festival today, that's gonna happen. Someone's gonna be like, let's throw this in a bin.
Yeah.
Fools.
Yeah, it was bold, but and his mode. There was this typical Michael Lang in the end. Like, hey, I want to make something of this. I want to make the news for being this like protest
Big
or
peaceful hippie festival. Let's hand out
to
candles.
show that the youth do care and do want to take a stand against gun violence. But it couldn't have backfired anymore.
No, it could not have been worse.
It just
asserted
the narrative.
One other random little thing that I noticed in the show too, in the like opening sequence where there's all these people yelling at the crowd, like yelling at the camera, like being, yeah, I'm at Woodstock 99. I'm so excited. One of those people was The Miz from WWE.
Really?
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, wait, was that The Miz? And then, yeah, the next, like a couple of days later on Instagram, he was like, yeah, that was me. Like, good.
This is taken off this is number 1 on Netflix, I think, this little documentary.
Yeah, it's been massive.
It's very, like I said, it's very well made. I don't know who, is it the same sort of like writing group or that do all these documentaries? They put them together so well. Like they can make like a story, like a suspenseful.
I think Netflix just like
out of anything.
I think Netflix just like farm them out to anybody that pitches them a good documentary, and I think by the looks of it, this documentary crew obviously had some form of connection to MTV, so I think that's where they probably got all that footage from.
Yeah.
Since they were like there covering the festival live.
There was a lot of good footage.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to cross paths with someone who's attended that festival, or even Woodstock '69. Imagine chatting to someone who went there.
I would love to see like a round table of like, let's get artists from the two artists and even a couple of like punters, a round table talking about their experiences at either festival would be really cool.
Yeah, both. Or like have like a few that went to '69 and a few that went to '99. And just open discussion. That'd be sick.
But yeah, like we're definitely never getting another Woodstock, so enjoy this while you can.
Well, not now. Well, what they say after the show that Michael Lang died 3 months after those interviews. Hectic.
Yeah.
I was trying to think how old he would be now, because I think he was only early 20s when they did '69. Would have been getting on. He was just a little smug operator, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, the whole organizing crew kind of were. So,
but then they interviewed a few people that were on
like the people that they hired on the staff.
They were fully against it. They were against it on the other end of the spectrum.
The people that they had the three at the top, the promoters, they were just like, we did nothing wrong. Everything we did was fine. But then all the people they hired were like, no, it was a bad idea. We told them that was a bad idea.
Was that,
and they still just kept going.
The other guy they interviewed, he was the one that was sort of fronting up to the press conferences. He's the one that sort of went on stage and told everyone what's going on.
Yeah, the guy that bankrolled it all, basically.
How's his comments about the sexual assaults and the rapes? He
had no idea it was happening
and blame. You know what he said? He said Woodstock was essentially a mini city with 250,000 people, and he said to get half a dozen sexual assaults in a small city is pretty normal. And he's scale that up into the real world. If you got half a dozen sexual assaults in a small town, he said that's pretty normal. Are you kidding? He essentially just said that it's normal and it's expected.
Yeah, massive sleaze. He was just all I'm in for is I just want to make money however I make money. So I know.
I was like, bruh, how did you just say that? You are getting cancelled.
Yep. Yeah. Great.
Whoa.
Great. So great doco. 3 episodes. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it's a belter. Especially if you've got a sour taste in your mouth from the binge Peace, Love and Rage edition that came out last year.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that there was difference to them. They weren't just the same, but yeah.
Completely.
I'm glad I watched this one instead of the other one. So
yeah, I was just going to say as well. When it popped up, I was like, oh, have Netflix grabbed this now? I thought it was the same one, but glad it was.
That's what I thought. When you said, let's watch this, I was like, didn't we do this already? But yeah.
Hey, I'll never stop watching Woodstock 99 docos. What an event. Imagine if that happened today. What's the craziest thing that happens at a festival today that's going to make the news?
Drugs.
Yeah. That'd be something very,
ODs.
very petty. Yeah, something very petty and drug related.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be making the news.
In terms of, we were talking about the sexual assaults that happened at Woodstock 99, the second doco we watched, The Most Hated Man on the Internet, another 3-episode series, this time focusing on...
Another very popular one. There's probably 1 and 2 on Netflix today, I think.
Yep. This one focuses on Hunter Moore and his revenge porn website, Is Anyone Up? What did you think of this one?
Nostalgia. I used to go on Is Anyone Up every night when I was when I was 16, 17. I would have been 16, 17. So it was around the same, the time. This was 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh no way. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, then I started watching. I was like, no, Is Anyone Up? That's iconic.
I had no idea
you would
about
have
this
been all
website
over it for sure. No, really? Yeah, it was huge. So, and I sort of did back then have a rough idea of the Hunter Moore and his happenings, but I guess at that time it wasn't as alarming as it would have been now. He's goings on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
another one that.
Imagine if
What a
this website
madman.
was up now. Jesus.
Oh,
Even back then, like, that's bad. It was bad.
For starters, his Twitter wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. Twitter would have shut him down quick smart. So
Yeah,
they didn't do that
100%.
back then.
But yeah, like, this one focuses on, that website and how it basically featured a whole bunch of naked photos of people that were supposedly submitted either by themselves or anonymously by basically jilted exes. But then as Charlotte Laws came to find out, there was a lot of hacking going on to source a lot of these images, and then Hunter would put them up and refuse to take them down no matter what anyone said, and very dodgy.
So basically, Charlotte Laws was the mother of one of the many girls that had her photos
uploaded. Yep.
What's the word? What's the word? Without consent, I guess. But basically just typical internet sleuth, really.
Yeah.
Who did an extremely good job. Pretty much did the FBI's job, and the FBI even complimented her on it, like, well, half our research and work's done here for you.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I just thought it was a bit strange that her like husband or partner was this very proper old world attorney.
Yeah,
and
a lawyer
she's
that
like
just didn't want to do anything for ages.
She's like this 100-mile-an-hour, like just American. I don't know. It was a weird matchup, them two. But then once he finally did do something about it, he just got results straight away.
Because a lawyer calling another lawyer is a whole lot different to a mother calling a lawyer being like, hey, can you take my daughter's photos down?
You're a bit rogue when like Hunter Moore's lawyer's like, bruh, I'm done.
Bruh.
I
can't help you here.
I cannot help you anymore. You are cooked.
Yeah.
Wasn't he just a piece of shit though?
Oh, yeah, just a horrible human being from the sounds of things.
Just your like a daughter's worst nightmare, really.
Mm-hmm. And kept amping it up until eventually the FBI caught up.
But he was big, I guess, when he was at his peak, like 2010, 2012. Like, I guess everyone for some reason loved him. There wasn't awareness like there is now on that sort of stuff. Misogyny, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, well, I guess like watching this documentary, it just like goes to show that back in the early 2000s, the internet really was just like the Wild West where anyone and everyone could make some money and do some real dodgy crap. But in the end, not so much. And like,
who a couple
of
characters that stood out?
The dude that had his photos up was pretty interesting. Like,
that's a weird thing. All the dudes.
What was it? What was she called?
The whole girl.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's so weird.
What a weirdo.
Why did they have to they really glorified the whole butthole girl thing, didn't they? And she sort of wore it with pride.
Yeah, so weird. So weird. And like the way that she got enveloped as butthole girl was because that was the only way for her to get Hunter to take down the screenshot of her Facebook page, which had a photo of her kids. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But that was after she submitted the photos herself, knowing that they were going to put a screenshot of her Facebook up, but didn't change the photos. Like, you idiot.
Yeah, completely under Hunter's thumb.
Mm-hmm. And like, I get that revenge porn is still a big issue, but nowhere near like it was back then where...
Nah.
Like now, there's ways to
nowadays people are hacking into people's iClouds.
Yeah,
that's how like a lot of celebrity like nudes and stuff have been leaked. Like people hack into their iCloud. That's why even before that stuff happened, I never trust iCloud. I will never use iCloud. Imagine having all your personal stuff just there at the taking at the mercy.
Yeah, but like I get now that internet servers and domains are a little bit better at keeping a tab on IP addresses and if someone does upload that sort of crap, they're going to get caught. Like, there's no. Basically, the only way for someone to find out up until like the FBI got involved back then was Hunter. He knew where the photos came from, and that was it. If he didn't tell anyone, no one was finding out.
Yeah. But I think he's just delusional. He sort of.
He thought he could get away with anything. He knew he was doing something wrong, but he thought he could get away with it.
He knew he was doing something wrong, but at the same time, he just thought it was completely okay. But at the same time, he did know he was doing stuff wrong. Then what did they give him? Like 30 months in jail or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. It's a pretty long time to spend in jail, but probably not long enough for what he did.
It'd be a rough 30 months for him too.
Oh, very much. But yeah, like, I thought this was another one that was like the perfect length. If we'd gone more than 3 episodes, I think we'd have been stretching.
Yeah. I was interested, and I had a connection with this website just as a punter, just as like and like I was interested in it because I was familiar with it. I did get a bit boring, and it did drag on a bit though. I will. Mm-hmm. So if you are completely unfamiliar with it, you could get over it. I know it took me a couple of days to pick up like episode 2. Then again, I didn't smash it out like I did Woodstock.
I was the same.
Woodstock,
I pretty much watched in
my podcast and my stuff for the day.
I think Woodstock I watched in one sitting, whereas this one I watched over a couple of days. So.
But I say it time and time again. It's just the typical the Netflix documentary. They've plucked something out of thin air and they've dragged it out for 3 hours over like a mini series, which is like good. I'll watch them till the cows come home. Keep them coming. But yeah, they've done well to make something out of it. That's for sure.
After watching the doco,
I'm not sure.
After watching the doco, I did see a Hunter put out a statement, basically.
Oh, true.
Saying, I quote, "A lot of people have been asking why I didn't tell my side of the story on the Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Well, at first, we had all agreed about the terms and all, but at the end, they wouldn't let me tell my side of the story. Basically, I had to say what they wanted me to say, so I backed off. There are always 2 sides to the story. 60% of that Netflix documentary was BS. They never wanted you to tell or hear the truth." So, yeah, it still kind of sounds like he just takes, again, the person at the center of the documentary taking no responsibility still.
It just, that just confirms his character. Like, he's always wants the final say. Like, bro, accept defeat. Just admit it.
I'd be interested to see like what he's up to these days. Like, I can't imagine he's doing anything amazing.
That's what I mean. That's what I just mentioned. Like, what's the timing of this for? Did he just get out? Is the 30 months up or something? Like his prison term? It would have ended ages ago. When was the trial and all that? Like 2017. So maybe what's that? Like 2 years? You'd probably think 2020 he would have got out.
Yeah, he probably got out just before the lockdowns, but I don't know. It was interesting, but yeah.
It would have been good to have him on, but I think we all know what his take
what he would have said. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think we already got enough out of that.
Yep. Yeah. In terms of top recommendations for this week, which of these 3 shows would be your top pick?
Woodstock 99, Trainwreck. It was very good. Very well made. Good footage. A neutral non-fan of Woodstock 99 would enjoy it. Those who love Woodstock 99 love it. Very good. Very well made.
Made me want to listen to more Limp Bizkit, so it worked.
Funnily enough, I listened to Limp Bizkit on the way to work last night.
Nice.
For that very reason.
I kind of wish I'd gone to see them in Vegas when I went, but seeing the footage, I was like, nope, that was a hectic concert.
Yeah, I actually Googled a photo of Fred Durst last night because I was curious how he looked. And he looks exactly how you would think Fred Durst looks in 2022.
Yep.
Very, it looks a lot like Dallas Green, actually.
Yeah.
A fine wine.
For me, my recommendation is Peaky Blinders. Like I said, we've got all 6 seasons now. You don't have to wait big, long gaps in between seasons and watch it. Get prepared for the movie because
I don't need to be the one to recommend Peaky Blinders. If you haven't watched it already, you should have. It's no secret.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z, and you can follow me on social media at JamieApps Media and at Pario Magazine. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the community support group level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Blake Robinson, Rena Renee, Courtney Paulson, Darren Hatcliffe, Jackson Carr, and Tracy Apps.